Thank you so much. So let me bring the description of what the collective knowledge, and now we have AI. So ask AI, what does AI think ancestral healing is? So that's what we got. It's a powerful therapeutic process that delves into the emotional, energetic, and psychological patterns inherited from your ancestors. These patterns, both positive and negative, are passed down through generations, often shaping how you live, love, and experience the world without being fully conscious of them. Mentally kind of right, I feel we suspect there is something like that. I would like to address both sides. The mental, that's what we perceive as, what we think that is, as well as how it is felt in our system, how it is personally felt in our life, how it impacts our interaction with the world. So from that little mental, I want to give a little bit also grounding to this healing. We usually it's often I face when they say healing, it's this, what does this mean? Like, what am I healed? What when do I ever get healed? Probably not. That's one. What's the point of all this? There is some research. Um, Research is mainly coming from Europe, specifically from Germany. The modality, the way it is currently presented to us as systemic family constellations, and it is the dominating modality in ancestral healing, as well as somatic practices that are necessary for integration. Most of the research comes from Germany. Most of that started after the Second World War. And I think at that point it became undeniable that that was needed. The consequences were very, very visible, very tangible, very felt. And as descendant of and the one whose family being in the Russian history also felt it very much in my blood, in everybody around me, there is no denial that collective trauma, ancestral trauma, generational trauma, whatever we call it, is real, felt, and it impacts the way we make everyday decisions. And that includes our health, that includes our relationship, that includes everything around us, our emotional field, as well as physical, as well as psychological. So from that a little bit more mental, I want to bring us down to the body. How does it feel in the body? So if you are interested in ancestral healing, the person you want to look up, you want to know a little bit more, if you want that mental food, is Bert Hellinger, the founder of Systemic Family Constellations. All the work, all the teachings I will be sharing today are based purely on his observations and everybody who observed the field after him. He started his work in about 1970s, official 80s. There was some breaks in there, but ever since, that work has been spread around the world. And the more awareness we are collectively getting about the impact on our communities, the more we're trying to bring that to structures like school, work organizations, and families. The more we educate ourselves about how suppressed emotions get passed on to next generation, the more responsibility we take for us as a continuing story of our ancestors and those come after us, the more we are able to make a difference, the more we are empowered to impact chains and ripples around us. As we step in and say, this story I've been telling myself, this addiction I've been in is not just mine. It started before me. But I do have the power to stop it with me so those after me don't suffer anymore. And then we can do more. And then what's the point if I never heal? Well, there are other things to heal. There are always more things to heal, but those things maybe not things like abandonment that rules your life, not belonging that rules your life. Those could be things like more creative expressions, more playfulness, more joy. And the more we tune in, the more we get to create and fine tune and become joyful, radiant, wealthy in all ways, in not just grabbing and keeping it and building the walls to secure it so nobody else gets access to it. In a way, when we overflow, that is so much that our healing can heal everybody else around it just by our presence, just by the way we say hello to a neighbor, just by the way I send my text message, just by the way I react when somebody cuts me in the traffic. That's how we heal everyone. All right, how about a few words from the founder, Family Constellations, and I hope these few quotes are gonna take us deeper and deeper into this work. Yeah. Why would we do ancestral healing? How about this? Let me share and see if I can share my screen right now so you can all read it with me. Yeah, can we see it? How about now? Yes? Success is the face of our mother. Money, mother, and life are comparable energies. The way we treat our mother is the way life treats us. Taking our mom as the fountain of our life, with everything that flows through her to us, we take our own existence. To the extent we take our mother, we take our life as a whole. Those who have taken their mother are radiant and loved. They are loved instantly. They attract others. The key to success and wealth is taking our mother. Without one's mother, a person is poor. With the mother, that person is rich. This wealth keeps on growing quite on its own accord. As soon as we have taken our mother and come into harmony with her, we become rich, properly rich in every regard. This is also the key to good luck. And then there is an opposite side. When I feel that I did not get enough from my mother, I demand it from my daughter. What does it mean to take our mother into our heart? When I judge my mother, I cannot take her into my heart. If I justify my inability to take her into my heart with her defects, I'm making demands and complaints and have a sense of emptiness inside. In order to be at peace with ourselves and find our identity, we need to be at peace with both parents, and first is our mother. Mom, I'm so sorry for how distant I've been. I miss you, but it's not easy to tell you that. Whenever you reached out to me, I've pushed you away. I've been really judgmental. It prevented me from being close to you. I'm sorry I pulled away. I promise. For the remaining time we have together, I'll be closer. Would anyone would like to share what came up?
I can share. Um, well, that hit a chord, that last one. um, because I am right now working in that field with my mother and the healing. And what that tells me, what you were just saying, what I've experienced so far is how to get out of my own story and become like an investigator of the true stories of them, right? Of my mother, of my father, to be able to step out of what I felt I experienced and actually see from a totally different viewpoint, a higher self almost, to see them as who they really truly are. And in doing so, I find that I can relate better with them. I'm not relating as a daughter. I can actually just relate as another a human being to another human being, right? And have more compassion and understand that the story that I was always telling myself about our relationship was um
What?
was really a truth. It
Mm.
wasn't really a truth. And in doing so, I find that I had to really step back and I'm going to say have the courage. It really helped me have the courage to see the truth, because that was a hard one in my family. It's really hard in my family to see the truth. And I've been with what I've worked with here, learning how to embrace that truth, not push it away, not go, okay, that's what it was, but to actually embrace it, bring it into my heart, and make it part of the story, because it is, and allow it to be seen so it isn't hidden away anymore. And that's a hard part. I brought my rock with me today. This is, sometimes I bring this so I can hold it, and it actually has, it says courage on it. So that's why courage came up. It's like, this is for me, family dynamics. I really have to have a lot of courage to walk into it, because I am the only one right now that wants to disperse the lies, or and I don't want to say I don't want to disperse it. Like you said, I want to just be, and being in myself, and learning that I can embrace my mother and my father again with love for who they are, where they came from. Doing that will help break it up. So
I want to check in somewhere here. Who else feels like I'm the only one in the family doing this? Like I'm the black sheep, or like they say, I'm the rainbow sheep. I'm the weird one in the family. Yeah, here you go. Here you go, sister. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I was also in the for the longest time under that impression. I was like, damn it, why am I the only one? Why am I the weird one? Lori, please, yeah.
Um, it brought up so much, and it was one after the next. It wasn't just one part. Excuse me. My relationship with my mother was super complicated, and I knew that she loved me, And she was broken, and I had the most beautiful thing happen. Please forgive me, stop me if I don't know if I shared this the first time, but it was so profound. It was after doing some family constellation. There was something where I hadn't seen my mother for 11 years, and I got this hit, oh, it's time to see her, and I hadn't talked to her in 5 years. And she didn't mean to, but her life circumstance made her sometimes like a rabid dog. Sometimes, you didn't know what you'd get there. And so when I went to go visit her, she chose the place, and she chose Las Vegas, which is kind of hilarious. And I agreed to stay in the same room with her. And she was someone who I'd always been afraid of most of my life. And I was like, why am I doing? And write something. It was I believe it says that workshop. It was a little bit before that. I went in with the awareness of understanding that my need to be a victim of her or in relationship to her was drawing more of the same, right? My need to hang on to this story that vilified her.
Mm.
And I went into that hotel room with just my heart open and just saying, like, really, and my words were like, I'm creating my reality. And I went in with my heart open, and I saw and met the most delightful human. And she was so loving and funny. And this is what my friends used to say, oh, your mom's so much, you're so lucky to have that mom. I'm like, have you met her? And she was just lovely. When I dropped my story, she was free to become like all the things that made her just a lovely human. There were some just beautiful things about her. So that to me was a direct thing. And I understood like the story, and I wanted to also ask you, Vika, to speak to this. But, for those people who don't know this Hellinger work, family constellations, the thing that's really important to me is, and I didn't understand this, and it's weird because I work as a medium, and you'd think I would get this one, is that it's not just the stories it's the stories of the generations before you that happen. Like if you're, one relative raped somebody, that is in the family line, or if it needs to be healed, and it affects how I'm feeling about myself relative to the world, how I feel, the whole thing. And that was the most profound thing I realized by doing that constellation therapy, that it was not just what I knew or the stories that were passed down, that my linear mind knew. So, and yeah, so I want to thank my mom. She's gone now, but I haven't had a better relationship with her. She died, and I see her now and again. I see her, and she's like so lovely. And I told her how much I loved her. And she was surprised even after she died. She was like, really? You love me? And so she's there, and I thanked her from the bottom of my heart, because I would not be the person I am today had she not. My soul employed her. That's my belief. My soul employed her to be this being that brought out the deepest level of compassion in me. And that's how I'm able to do my work today, which is something that is so important. So
Thank you so much for sharing so vulnerable way. Yay, let's extend the healing.
yeah.
I'm so happy that came up to you. Yeah. And thank you for referring to the work that has been done. So Lori's been doing the family constellation too. So what we're doing right now is a conversation. It's a healing conversation, but it's a conversation. The work of ancestral healing is work. It is done intentionally in a container of a group. It is guided. It is something you're willing to step in. It is deeper. It is something that requires courage and bravery. It is something you are coming to yourself, realizing, feeling there's something in your family system, in your connections with the family that is impacting your life so deeply that you will do everything else but this. You will get distracted, but something else. You'll say, I'm too busy. I don't have time for this. This is not the time. You know, I have to take care of my life first. I need to take care of my kids first. I need to take care of my bank account first. But once you're ready, you're ready. You'll know. You'll know. You'll come. You'll see one thing. It's okay. It's time. Like Lori said, it's time. And then you step in and you do the work. And it is very, very helpful when you already have somatic tools to self-regulate, to do this work. This work is not being done on its own. And that's why I always, not always, often partner with somatic practitioners. And Dr. Layden here, thank you for your presence, is one of the somatic practitioners, chiropractor, very experienced in the body field, who also helps process that trauma somatically, body-based, soma, body-based. Right? So that needs to move. There's hugging therapy, there's tapping therapy, there's all kinds of things. There's dancing. Tribal dancing is one of the most powerful ancestral healing you can do. If you get back to your ancestry, find what they've been drinking, what they've been dancing, what music they've been listening, what rhythms are in their blood, what colors they were wearing. That is all part of the research that can ground you. While so many of us are on a spiritual path of going up, rising the Kundalini energy, rising our frequencies, we also need to go down. And the down is the grounds and the roots and ancestry, and integrating everything that already happened into our system as that is what is. Even if I tell myself the story of I was born or raised by a mother who was emotionally or physically unavailable to me, it is what is. And now I have all the resources that happened and I can heal. And just recognition of it, just awareness will take you just a step further. Maybe conversation, this specific conversation will take you a step further. But there's more you can do. And I'm here to invite you to do a little more, to dive in a little more. I'm going to ask these ladies who were in the workshop last week, who did the homework? What was the homework? Here we go. That's why we need the weekly reminders, right? That's why I'm going to be introducing my program. 5 weeks. But first, the homework was, oh, thank you, Stephanie. Here we go. We got one. Would you like to share? If you're available for this.
Sure. So I believe that our homework was to write a thank you letter to our mother.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that. And felt really good. And I kind of had like more acceptance of my mother. And she did call me, but I didn't answer.
Thank you for sharing that as well. I appreciate that. I was just gonna say, if a mom calls you like, damn, I don't have the energy for it, you need this program.
Yeah.
You think it doesn't impact your life? It does. It really, 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 really does.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, thank you so much for doing the homework. Yes, the homework was to write a gratitude letter to your mom. It's a difficult one. It's not just something like, okay, I have 5 minutes, I'll write a thank you letter to my mom, right? No, a real thank you letter. Even though you could not see me, I see you. And that's enough. You gave me life, and that's enough. Even though you were not available to love me, I love you. You gave me love, and that's enough. Thank you. The systemic family constellation shows you the subconscious, like Lori said, unseen dynamics. We know the story that we know. What we may not realize, and this is the story that we know of our grandfather, is not our story, is the story our mom told us about her father. It's a story of a girl who maybe grew up with an unavailable father, and now she's telling that story to her daughter. Seeding maybe the mistrust of the masculine. And then from that, we go to collective trauma. Laura was mentioning what it meant to be there, seeing your mom from the first time, with the eyes of your friends, not yours, not your abandoned inner child eyes. From those eyes, she's beautiful, amazing, a gift to the world. From my eyes, she's the one who didn't give me enough, wasn't enough. And therefore, I am not enough. How do I heal that not enoughness? I open myself step by step, seeing her story and accepting, embracing, not accepting, embracing her story as her, and giving her guilt, her trauma back to her. She chose her story. You chose your story. But you didn't really make that choice. You were a kid, you had to survive. And she was suffering. So your choice was to suffer for her. And now maybe it's time to say, I see you, Mom. I see you. I see you as a woman, I'm a woman. Or maybe I see you as a woman, I am a man. I see women around me. I see the choices you make. I respect and honor the choices you make. You have the right to make your choices. And so do I. And I don't want you to pay for my choices. I don't want my children to pay for my choices. No, I want the freedom to experiment in my life myself and nobody else paying for them. Wouldn't you want that? Wouldn't you want your mom to have that? If I make a mistake, it's my mistake. I don't want my daughter to suffer for it. Never. Why would I? Never. If I knew that that's my responsibility, oh my God, how am I going to live? I'm just going to stand here and do nothing. Because every mistake I make, every experiment I make will ripple tragedy on her? No. No, we don't want to do that. We exploring ourselves and then giving the freedom to our children to explore themselves and giving so they can give the freedom to their children to explore themselves, and that's how life explores itself. Self-discovery. But if I refuse to feel anger. Anger doesn't belong here. It is not safe to embody anger. Society doesn't approve anger. Aggression is bad. Okay, I'm a good woman. I'm a good girl. I'm a good wife. I'm a good mother. I'm going to suppress it and I'm going to say, you know what? This is the lesson. This is how we do it. What's going to happen? The first thing that I discovered when I started doing ancestral healing is that I was carrying tremendous anger from my grandmother, who was married to a guy who we now call an alcoholic, even though back then it was just a man drinking sometimes. And she had to raise 5 kids, and she didn't say how angry she is about why she, woman, who was carrying all herself, had to do it all herself and work in the field and then come home and feed and wake up at 5 a.m. and milk the cows and give food to the goats and chickens and then go after the kids and come back and go away to bed while you're on the couch with vodka and friends. And I carried that. I didn't know. I found that out when I looked at the family constellations, the subconscious relationship that showed me this guilt or this anger that you've been attacking every partner you've been in a relationship with since you were 16. He's not enough. He's weak. He's not strong enough. What kind of man is it? Where the real man? Layer by layer, step by step. That anger. Then abandonment. Then 3 abortions of my mother I didn't know about. That's a lot. It's one thing after another, then we have war. That's how collective trauma materializes. I thought I would never experience war after what happened to my grandparents. And now I would like to help. I would like to heal. I would like to bring awareness. I would like to offer the work so we can heal ourselves and ripple that healing. So we don't get triggered. So we don't get overpowered by emotions. So we learn to interact, communicate fully, authentically, vulnerably, open, so we can heal the collective together. So I don't personally mistrust men, mistrust women. So I can see a stranger on the street and say, "Hey, sister." And I will hear a smile back. And that is happening. That is happening more and more. I would like to hear you now. Please, what is coming up for you? What would you like to share? I know, Sonia, you had your hand up early and I didn't get to you. Would you like to step in now?
Well, I'm in the right place since I don't talk to my mom or my daughters. I wasn't invited to the weddings that happened last year. And thank God I do the work. And there's more work to be done there. Right? Yeah, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. That's why I was drawn in. And, I do feel that I am the only one doing the work. And that pisses me off, to be honest, because we're all responsible, the females in my family, and it is family patterns handed down. Like it's connected to divorce and connected to being free to be happy, just to have a life that there's joy there for myself, and to be made wrong and cast out for that is very difficult. And yeah, I keep showing up and keep doing the work. So may it ripple through.
Thank you for showing up. Oh. Woohoo! Look at all those hands. All the healing hands, Yoy. Yeah. Thank you. Katie, please.
Yes. Yeah, I think before knowing it was called ancestral trauma or family karma, pick your moniker, I was aware of the addiction and the mental health and the secrecy that kind of rippled through my family growing up. And I probably 15 years ago or 10 years ago had this visceral, like the buck stops here, this Harry Truman quote that I'm going to be the one. And I've tried to make my choices in integrity in that. And now what's alive in me, what I'm bumping up against is my values as a 62-year-old woman feeling time marching quickly, and maybe my adult children and their values. And I guess for me, the idea of like leave no trace, what they say when you're camping and stuff, leave no trace, that my timeline, that's what's in my nervous system and my ability to control, and it might bump up against their trajectory. And so I guess I've had to, I don't want to say manage expectations, but I'm trying to not project my story onto my children. The one slide that said like, if you didn't get it from your mother, you're going to expect it from your daughter. That was very, that was, yeah, that struck a chord with me.
Mm.
And even if I've been so solid in my, I will not do that, that has a certain fear-based scarcity that doesn't do them any help either. So I've really had to come clear on what's mine to do, and have a much broader idea that there are many lifetimes, that we are living many parallel timelines. And I do believe that any incremental healing I do for me, I know it has a ripple effect in generations forward, but I also think it has a ripple in 7 generations going back as well. And that and the Ho'oponopono forgiveness prayer have been my bedrock for taking care of this system, which is, good Lord, that's enough most days, you know.
Yeah. Honoring you. Thank you for sharing. Thank you, Katie. Yeah, a couple of things in here. So you mentioned this thing that they say in the campaign, right? Leave no trace. I want to bring, by the way, did you notice that all this time we only been talking about the mother? This is just the mother. That's the first, the tip, guys. There's also the father in the picture. The father in the picture is the masculine side, right? So this whole gender role thing, this whole genders and all the mixtures and all the quiddity, there's a lot in there. So when I refer to masculine and feminine, let's put it this way: right now is the way we are born into this world, and this may change. We have a father and a mother. The masculine, access to masculine energy, decision making, stability, boundaries, ability to present yourself in the world comes from the father. And the access to feminine life, connection to everything, ability to step into everything, fluidity, comes through the mother. Like those are the genders we're talking about, not necessarily what the father represents, what the mother represents. And I have a guest in here, Maria. I'm going to refer to you. So like I'm going to prep a little bit to you, so I talk to you. And I'm going to refer to that because I know Maria from adventure travel and transformational travel. And transformational travel is built on the story of a hero, the hero journey. And as the feminine rising, we are talking more and more about the hero journey. What's the feminine in this? And I want to bring it to also what is the role of feminine in the collective, right? As we talk more about healing the collective, uniting the collective, there's also, I feel, a desire in uniting and bringing this feminine into the hero journey. How does that impact? Katie, you were saying we try not to project. I try not to project, but when we travel, can we not project? And if we do project, what do we project? And if I am in the fear of not to be like my mother, not to be like my mother, remember not to be like my mother, what am I projecting? And how does that impact? How does that inner journey, hero and shiro, both, impact the way we travel in the world? What's out there? What can be improved? What kind of world can we create? What kind of experiences, what kind of healing we can offer? What kind of communication, interaction in the world can we offer? If we keep in mind that I am the daughter of my mother, the daughter of my father, and that is the ultimate place of my belonging. And no matter where I go, I am the daughter of my mother, the daughter of my father, the granddaughter of my parents, the sister to my siblings. And if I am the mother to my children. And if I keep that and the honoring of that, how will my hero journey, how will my travel change? How will I create experiences from that? How will I honor the ancestry of every person who's coming in? And by ancestry, I don't mean where are you from? I am struggling so much with that question. Maria, is there anything you would like to add to this adventure travel conversation / ancestral healing?
Well, a few things. I mean, I think that one of the greatest lessons I've learned over the years of traveling and being on all 7 continents a couple of times, and the number of times that I go into Africa, that there are places in the world where you just feel so drawn, and Africa is it for me. It's my heart place. And it's where I feel the age of the earth in such a primal, stirring, sensual way. Even just describing it now, I'm getting goosebumps that are coming up my legs, because you just feel everything that has come before you when you're in the bush. And that's one of the profound feelings that changed me literally as a human. You know, the very first day when I stepped onto that continent, I was afraid of everything, because my father had gone as a teenager and gotten malaria, which stayed with him all of his life. So I grew up with these stories about malaria and things that would sting and bite and chew you. And so I was very afraid. However, when I left 11 weeks later, you know, the person that wouldn't get out of the vehicle was now jumping out of the vehicle and running towards things. And it just profoundly changed me. And then the other thing that I feel travel has given me is not to judge a book by its cover. You never know who you are speaking to. You know, you could be going through a village, and you are talking to a gentleman who's got a ripped up Bob Marley t-shirt, and he's got a pot belly. I mean, he's not, you know, visually very pleasing. And you're making a judgment, and then you find out that he's the elder of the community and beloved and respected. But because you looked at his appearance, you made a judgment. So those two things, I think are you know, the biggest things that I've gotten from travel. I mean, there's many other things, but those are the two markers. Thank you, Lori. But what I wanted to say in terms of the work and talking about the father and mother, my mother is my heart, you know, and I don't have my mother or my father anymore. I lost my mother about a year ago. And my father always had a very big presence, and I always had there was a lot of love between us, but it was also very challenging. And I have always felt that there was on both sides of the family a lot of ancestral stuff that needed to be cleared up. And I'm really the last one. I'm the last of the line. I don't have kids. I'm not going to have kids. And so it really pretty much is stopping with me. But still and yet, whatever time I have left on this planet, I want to be a good human, and I want to help others be good humans. And so, that recognition is important to me. It's powerful to me. So, similar to your background, my grandfather grew up during a time of war in Odessa. He was at gunpoint. He came from a wealthy family. He was at gunpoint by a soldier. The gun didn't go off. My grandfather pushed him, and he just kept running across Russia. And he would sleep in cemeteries during the day and run through the night until he was able to get out of the country. And then on my father's side, when my dad was born, it was during a very catastrophic time in Turkey. And again, he also was born into a lot of wealth, and the family lost the money because of they were Greeks in a Turkish country, and the Greeks and the Turks don't get along. And so there's a lot of baggage that just comes from the most immediate, let alone what has gone on before them. So I was very curious to know what your work is about. I mean, I know you and I like you and I trust you, so I was curious. So yeah, this is very much resonating with me. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing. Everywhere I go, it's like that. It's one thing that we all have. One story that we all have, that our story of our origin. And it's an amazingly fabulous way uniting. And it's the story that keeps us the most isolated from each other. I find it.
Can I say something?
Yeah, please.
I just wanted to say, I wanted to echo what Katya has said, and also tied into what Maria has said, that all of these experiences and these stories, and like, as you just said, all of these are embodied within us. At the end of the day, on the deepest level of who we are, we're all one. And while we talk about 7 generations back, 7 generations forward, essentially, because we are all one, and we do embody the collective cultural stories, the collective dreams and trauma, and even the experiences that other people who are close to us are having. On some level, we feel that as us because we are that. And while we embody all of these aspects of our family and our community, and those dynamics exist within us, as we heal that, and I love the fact that people are saying, I felt like it was my responsibility to do this. A lot of times people shy away from the word responsibility because there's a context of it being associated with blame or fault. And it has nothing to do with that, right? It doesn't mean that you caused the problem. It just means it landed in front of you. It's in your lap. It's in front of your face. And when that's the case, it is each of our responsibility. It's what's up in life. And when we do the work to heal this, we heal ourselves. But beyond the 7 generations forward and backward, we're not separate from anything. And this healing work that we're doing is healing across timelines and across species lines, and bringing everything into a more harmonious, loving expression state. So thank you, everyone, for what's been shared and for the work you're doing, and for just having the awareness of the importance of this connection and how we can use it to make a change, because we can't always change societies, right? But we can change ourselves. And in doing that, we do change societies. We change the world that we live in. So thank you.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much, Wayne. Woo, you said it. All right, so I promise let's do a little bit of things, and then Katya, I'll get to you right after that, okay? So I promised that I'm going to introduce my first program. I've been doing this work in all kinds of levels for almost a decade, and I'm launching my first 5 weeks program, 5 weeks Ancestral Immersion. So a little bit of what we did today, it's going to be pre-recorded teachings that you're going to get at the beginning of the week, you'll do your research and you'll do your homework. And then by the end of the week, we'll meet online and we'll do the deep dive. There's going to be no presentation anymore. You'll all do a video and listen and watch your presentation by yourself at your pace whenever it works for you. It's very short video, very easy to consume and process. And I know you will need time to just take it in. It's like, say that again. It's going to be there. You're going to repeat. You'll say that again. And then we'll meet and we'll do 2 hours of seeing the unseen. What am I not seeing? I know the story. I know what is it I don't know? What are those connections? What are those entanglements? Where am I identified with my grandma, my aunt, somebody who was exiled, somebody who was mentally ill, somebody who was not born, somebody who was murdered, somebody who was assaulted, somebody who did the assaulting. We'll find the victim perpetrator connections. And how? By feeling in the body what resonates. It's vibrational work. So there will be some assignments to do the research around your family and very kindly, nicely ask questions. It is not required. And if you don't have even anybody to ask, it is still good. It is still gonna work. Some things will come up. What else? What am I not covering? Help me. What am I missing? What are those things? What else should be in that program that I'm like, I need that. If it's not there, I'm not sure I can get to that place of embrace. Not forgiveness, not acceptance, embrace. And one more thing I wanted to, Elaine, thank you for bringing up what you mentioned it. Those pools, and Katie, you were talking about those ancestors. 2 options. Either your unhealed, unresolved trauma is dragging you down, blocking you from what you want, keeps you in, I don't actually know what I want. It would be great. I would probably go get it, but I don't know what it is I'm craving. Or when healed, it becomes your power source. Ancestral healing, when I do ancestral healing for my family, if in my family's history there were slaves and my ancestral was enslaved, my responsibility is to be free and independent and roam through the world as much as I want to. You want that responsibility? It's yours. It empowers you. Make a different choice. If your family somewhere in the past was taking advantage of other people, now you have responsibility to serve them, to share that gift. I call it privilege. It's my privilege to heal those unhealthy, and I get to benefit from it. I get to be visible because women in my family will not. I get to be happy in my relationship, and women in my family will not. If before my ancestral trauma was just like my mom, I do not trust men. Just like my grandma, I am unhappy in my marriage. My ancestral healing means I get to be happy, fulfilled, loved in exactly the way that I want, and I get to speak up about it. That's my healing. That's not a bad responsibility to have. Tell me, what am I missing? Is there advantage? Let me read this. Or would you like to say it?
I can say it. I don't have the little hand raiser feature from somehow I haven't
I
found it.
got
So.
you. Uh-huh.
And I know Katya was waiting, but so I just wanted to just say, just a question. So recently, I went to a Yavapai Apache gathering, and they all say, like, before they say their name, they say, I'm the daughter, or no, I'm the daughter of so-and-so, I'm the granddaughter of blah, 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 you know, they give their lineage, and it was so holy, and it was so, the energy they said it with was beauty. And so my question is there an advantage to the healing process from ancestral trauma when you're in either the container of a tribe or a small, whatever, like a small province that you live in where everyone knows everybody and they know the history. I mean, I know they can keep all the secrets too, right, of that, but they may know like, oh, your family did this and your father died in the war and, you know, and they all kind of hold this. Now, some of those stories, I'm guessing they could hold the ones that aren't true, that are the cover-up stories or whatever. But is there any data that supports, you know, when you have people who know you and keep your awareness of your lineage and who you came from, and they know the stories and they still love you and you still have entry or, to your community to, does that make sense? The word entry is not the right word, but you still have access and are allowed to be a part of, even if you came from lots of trouble, you know?
Absolutely. So that's actually how this work started. This work was adapted from the tribes of Zulu in South Africa.
Mhm. Wow.
And the
Wow.
reason it was adopted because it was observed, noticed by the Westerners from Europe that realized that those families live from generation to generation. The next generation doesn't leave the house, they all live together, and they're somehow able to coexist. While in the modern society, right? You know what happens. Try having the mother-in-law living with you. And the shaman would perform that work. They would have the ritual. They all knew each other, they all knew each other's stories. And the beauty of this work is it's not a story. You have two people and there's a conflict. And then, okay, you have other people without knowing what the story is, representing to you what subconsciously the pool is. Do you know those people? Do you not know those people? Doesn't matter. The only thing that makes it for Westerners, for the way we live, for the way our system built, our families build, our culture is built, it is difficult for us to do the work in the presence of people who are in our family system. So sometimes it's actually easier, right? Sometimes if a mother and a daughter come together, yes, we'll work together. But it is, if they were able to resolve it on their own, they already would have.
Ah, good point.
Right? So there is something that one of them is not ready to see or not willing, at least one of them. And usually, and it's very common when somebody comes and says, I'm okay, but I want to help my son. I'm okay, but my mom is struggling. Can we do consolation for her? What is it in you that bothers you about her being what she is right now?
Oh, nice. Nice. And may I add one other thing? When you talked about the African roots of this, it reminded me, and I thought you were, and I nearly thought you were going to recount this, but there's, I don't know, I can't remember the tribe, but there was a way where each child, when they're born, when they're in utero, the mother would receive the song that connected to that child. And then as that child was born, she had taught the tribe to the entire, taught the song to the entire tribe. And when they would sing that child into existence, and whenever that child lost his way and began to behave in ways that were, self-destructive or destructive to others, they'd surround him and sing that, and so that he could find his way home. And I thought, if it's find his way back to his true nature, and how it feels like it kind of is based on similar principles.
I've heard it. Yeah, I think you're talking about Ubuntu, maybe around the tribe this teaching came is Zulu. I'm not sure about geographically or culturally how close, how connected those are.
Oh, no, yeah. I didn't mean that they were actually literally connected, but I just kept feeling.
Yeah, but absolutely. The power of the collective to heal your personal inner wound is tremendous. That basic belonging, when you have belonging covered, you have that safety in which you can look. And this is the biggest struggle that we have getting into this work. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. And that I'm not ready means I'm not safe. I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe here. I don't feel, I'm still in that, I'm still frozen in the traumatized mode of whenever a trauma happened. 5-year-old, 7-year-old, I'm still there. And the closer we get to it, the more I'm into that. So I'm contract, right? And that's why we're talking about somatic tools are so important. It's okay. I'm okay. I feel okay. I can do this. I'm supported. Have my breath, have my movement. My psyche is down, right? Only now, only when we got to that level collectively that we have those tools, now we're going, okay, we can do more. We can go deeper. We can heal this. So then we get to create, co-create, not co-traumatize. Katya, please. Thank you, Lori.
I felt called to speak to this being in a place of non-judgment. And I speak often about how crucial it is to embrace self, life, mother, and father in their allness. And when you shared those Hellinger quotes in the beginning of our meeting, it seemed that this embracing mother non-judgmentally was also emphasized. And when I look at this responsibility of triple healing, of healing individually, ancestrally, and collectively, this is indeed so key to be in a place of integrity. And when I am committed to my responsibility to reparent myself because I might not have received unconditional love in my early childhood environment, I am in fact calling on the energy of Father when I lean into the discomfort of looking what's there for me when I listen internally. And then this Father energy helps me to make this commitment with fierce courage. And then I can call upon the energy of Mother to stay in the work. And Mother helps with her tender care to stay committed. And so that's the magic of embracing both energies, Father and Mother, in the reparenting work. They go hand in hand and make the healing work possible for us.
Yeah, embracing both. Yeah, we talked a little bit about the path towards love as well, right? We embrace the parents and we embrace the ancestral / collective. And then we go towards all embrace, all embracing, all experiences. And that includes, I was raised without unconditional love. That's also part of the embrace.
Yeah, ultimately it's about including the excluded.
Yeah, thank you so much for this. All right, I think guys, it's been 2.5 hours. I see people coming in and out. Thank you so much for staying with it. It tells me this conversation is important. And I want to make sure that I give space to everyone. So Jane, you haven't spoke yet. Is there anything you would like to add?
I don't really have anything to add. I'm just loving the conversation and feeling like I would love to do this work. Everything is resonating. Yeah, I have very similar. I just remember my grandmother when her husband died before I was born, and she would always say, "I really hope I don't meet him in heaven." And so, what you say about, a woman who was my grandmother living, he was an alcoholic. She didn't talk much about it, but that sort of said it all. And then my mother, who is also, she's still married, but she's often complaining about my father. And now I find myself in my relationship putting up with things. And I'm just now wondering, like, is this something that's been passed down? I don't know. And for me, I'm also really done a lot of healing with my mom, but I really would like to dive in to the healing work with my father. That's huge for me. That's still very, I judge him, but I'm more still like afraid of him. So when you say that conversation, when that phone call comes from your father, it's like, I don't really want to talk right now. I want to hide. And so this work sounds amazing and so healing. So I've been really enjoying the conversation, and really see how it could just, like you were saying, just make you whole and grounded.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing this and how you experience it in your life. Yeah, all those hands. Yay. Thank you. Thank you, and man. I gotta want to switch this. Like I'm so used to being a women's circle and men, all the people, the humans. Thank you. Yeah, so for those of you who do want to do the work, there are going to be links. I'm going to put as comments. I'm going to send you email. So we're doing the 5 weeks. It's going to be limited to 15 people. It will not take more than 15 people, 5 weeks. We're starting September 30th. It's very soon. It is happening. So the pre-recorded part, of course, going to pre-record it to you, but the Zoom calls, if you can't make it, just message me, ask me details, ask me everything you want to ask me, and we'll take care of that. Yeah. Thank you so much, all of you, for coming to the Wisdom Circle. All you beautiful, wise people, you're awesome, amazing healers, lights, sunshines all around us. Ah, so happy to see you. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Goodbye. Thank you, Vika. And